Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, Ella.
Hey. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Zoom has a time limit, and in case it expires again, I plead with you to just sign back in and let's continue with the meeting as if nothing ever happened. Okay. Okay. So Bobby is here with us, and I think before he can,
Let's just get people
I
time
think,
to join. In.
okay, okay. Hi, Bobby.
Hey, how you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Good.
How is Dubai?
It's very hot.
Lucky
Very
you,
hot.
it's really cold over here.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Bobby.
Hey, Rodriguez, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. You're wearing glasses today, man.
I need that. My age now. I need to wear glasses to see.
Looking more serious.
Mind you, I
Yeah,
don't
no,
need
it's
to.
okay.
I need them for reading. That's all. So.
No, it's okay. No worries. No worries, man. Yeah, no worries. I think Ella should, take over the meeting. And
Yeah. Right before we got interrupted, I wanted to share my screen. We wanted to look at the infomercial that you, Bobby, the infomercial that you did for KU. And I was right about to play it before we got disconnected. So let me do that real quick, okay?
Sure.
Sure.
Can you guys hear the audio?
No. No.
Okay, let me fix that. How do I fix that?
It should be there. If it's not, I'm not sure why.
I really don't know why the audio is not.
Does your laptop have sound on? Because I can see the sound is there on YouTube. Don't know if you maybe check your speaker, check your laptop speaker, see if it's on.
I'm connected to Bluetooth. Let me try disconnect.
Yes, please do. Yeah, exactly. Try and see if you can, that can work. Right. Try, let's see.
Is a story.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
A story of attainment. A story of mastery. A story of direction. A story of vision. A story of enlightenment. A story of determination. A story of partnerships. A story of times. A story of expression. A story of leadership. A story of excellence. A story of expression. A story of focus. A story of skill. Story of accessibility. The story of precision. The story of advancement. A story of community.
There he is.
There I am.
Talent broker.
There he is. Oh, Bobby. Oh, Lord. Okay. Right.
There you go.
Right.
Oh,
So like
the shots were
like I was,
clean.
yeah, like I said, that's where Bobby and I met. And before, Ella takes it over,
Oh my goodness.
again, I
I'm
want
so
to welcome
sorry.
everyone.
YouTube, come
Don't
on.
worry, don't worry, it's okay. No, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. No worry. Like I was saying, so before Ella takes over and invites Bobby to start speaking, that was J.RODRIGUEZ Entertainment. No, sorry, that was Bobby and how we met with Bobby. And then now, so before we continue, I'd like to tell everyone, please make sure you switch off your mics. I know this is Ella's job. Just switch off your mics. But when you have a question, reach out to Ella, either through the comment section or, oh, thank you, Nkara. I'm sure Bobby will speak about the shots. But please switch off your microphone. When you want to speak, reach out to Ella through the comment section, or there's an icon that you can raise up your hand with, and it will prompt Ella to stop the speakers, and you can ask your questions. Right. So I think I'm done. Bobby
Thank
is
you.
here, and then Ella will take over. Ella, over to you.
Thank you for that, Rodrigo. You are amazing. So Bobby is finally here. Thank you for joining us, Bobby. We've been waiting for you. I think we'll just get right into it. We've had a lot of introduction and a lot of blah, blah, blah. But now since you're here, tell us, who is Bobby?
Sure. Good evening, guys. Actually, Tosh is going to log in a bit. Everybody here should know Tosh Gitonga, who directed Nairobi Half-Life. He's a very good friend of mine. He's going to join us on this Zoom call as well. My name is Bobby Dhillon. I'm a freelance director DOP. I live in the UK, and I've been in the industry 30 years, so a long time. And I've been shooting in Kenya for about 10 years now. So my history is I grew up on feature films way before any of you guys were born, which was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Indiana Jones, Last Crusade, Alien 3, Fifth Element, A Dry White Season, Sense and Sensibility. So that's two films with Spielberg, Luc Besson on Fifth Element, Alien 3 with David Fincher. And I was just a junior in the camera department then, before I worked my way up to an assistant, and then I became a DOP after 15 years, and then I started directing about 12 years ago. So those are the films I worked on, and my first TV commercial in Kenya was about 10 years ago. It was for Coca-Cola Wahi Kuahi.
Wahi Kuahi, that was amazing.
Yeah.
We all remember that, don't we?
And then I did a really nice campaign. I did the campaign for Equity, Mimi Na Member. That was, I was a director DOP on all those commercials for Equity Bank, which is going way, way back. And then Mpango Wakando with Jimmy Gatto was another one that I did. And then I've been coming back and doing Safaricom commercials. I did the Blaze commercials. I did Safaricom 18th birthday, Coke Studios last year. So I just come and go. I mostly, even though I live in the UK, I mostly shoot abroad. I haven't shot in the UK for about 12 years. Mostly Dubai, Beirut, Kenya, and wherever they want to take me, I'm happy to fly. So that's sort of my history. So what I've got guys, for you just to have a look at is how I pitch for a job, and then the process, and then I'm going to show you the finished commercial of one of my pieces. So I think before we take any questions, I'll just show you the process that I go through, of a very nice commercial I did last year. It was for there's a arts festival and a sports festival called Daria in Saudi Arabia, and I had the pleasure of working on this job as director and DOP because the budget was slashed at the last minute, even though the budget was $680,000 for a 7-day shoot, which is a decent budget, very good budget. So, but I'll show you, I'm just gonna share my screen with you. Just let me know if this works, guys. You gotta do that. Ella, you gotta allow me to share my screen.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Bobby.
So once you allow, then I'll share with you.
You have to allow it, yeah.
Trying to do that.
Don't worry. Yeah, just go to share, and then you can go to settings. You've seen it, yeah.
Done it.
Right, awesome.
Okay, cool.
Are you okay, Bobby?
Okay. Yeah, I am. So you guys see this? Daria shot list?
Not yet, not yet. Share it.
You see that?
No, not yet.
Okay.
You have to, press the share button.
I did that.
The Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah, there we
go.
go. There we go.
So this,
Great.
so this job came through me through an agency called H&K in Dubai, and it was for this arts festival. So what I had to do was do like a breakdown of what they want to do. So this is shot list version number 5. So it just opens on a woman looking at the city, and it just goes through every single shot that we're going to need to shoot for the commercial. I mean, it was a big job. It was, I can't remember how many shots. A lot of shots, considering it's 87 shots in 7 days, which is a lot because we had a lot going on. So then what happens is you surround yourself with a team of good people that are going to make you look good. That's what I always do first. So I have an art director who does an art mood board. So he would bring ideas to the screen like this, of what the art department will look like, what props will be, art department, and because some of the scenes were very, very specific to the region in Saudi Arabia. And then on the bottom of just my comments of if I like it or if I don't like it, then he'll go back and change it. And these are some of the locations and art department that we had. Then we have a wardrobe mood board because we have to get this all approved by the agency and the client. So we had a wardrobe stylist who styled the Arabic women and the men of what sort of clothes they were going to wear. And then again, you get all this approved before we get anywhere near shooting. And then everybody comes in for wardrobe fittings and tests. And then we try everybody standing next to each other to see if it all works. So, by the time we shoot, and we had 3 weeks prep on this. So it was quite a, decent amount of time, and I had to keep flying back to Saudi Arabia to go and do that. So the other thing I'm very lucky to do where I'm at the moment is to have a storyboard artist who storyboards the whole film, more or less. So I don't know if you guys can see this. This is the story of how the film starts, with the horse and the car and the boxes and stuff. So, I mean, and this storyboard artist is amazing. He's really, really good. I mean, as you can see, he understands lighting, he understands framing, he understands everything that we need to know about shooting the film. So then what we'll do is I go, yep.
Did you mean to show us the storyboard?
Yeah, can you see the storyboard now?
No, we're still on the shot list.
Yeah, we're still on the short list. Yeah, you can just minimize the document. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
It's okay.
I'll do that. There we go. So I'll just show you another one. So this is storyboard.
Ah,
Yeah.
perfect.
As you can see, I mean, it's very specific. It tells you exactly what we want to do, and even the lighting. This storyboard artist is very, very good. I think it charges something like $30 a frame. Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, Ella, Tosh is trying to get in. Can you accept him?
Oh yeah, I've seen him. Let me admit him.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Hopefully Tosh is there somewhere now. Okay, so that's sort of the storyboard. So did you guys see the wardrobe and the mood board that I put up, or?
No, we didn't see.
Oh,
We
okay.
didn't
I'm
see.
sorry.
Yeah.
Let me just do that again. So,
No worries. No worries. Yeah.
Sorry. This is the one I was talking about. You see this now? The art director.
Wow.
All
Can you
right.
see this?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, sorry. Okay, here we go. So what the art director does, he does his own board and tells us what he's going to bring to the shoot. So this is an amazing art director, a Lebanese guy called Damus, who I work with a lot. So he brings all the ideas of what the look for each scene is going to be. And then, I write whether I like it or not, or whether I want to change something. So that's his job. Like I was saying earlier, you just surround yourself with good people to make you look really good. And then again, we have art. That's not that one. Then I have after that I have the wardrobe stylist. That's not the wrong one. This keeps bringing up the wrong one. Sorry. Sorry. Just bear with me. I'm trying to bring the other one up. Is Tosh there?
Yeah, Tosh is in.
Oh, okay, cool.
So maybe as Bobby is trying to figure out, would you introduce Tosh?
Hi, Tosh. Wait, let me just make sure he's in. Yes, he's in. Hi, Tosh.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm trying to find you. Where is your screen? Is your screen on? There you go. Hi, Tosh.
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Hi.
you. I can see you. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, perfect.
Thank you for joining
you would
us.
have to.
Sorry, I'm late.
It's okay.
It's all right, because you're a proper director. That's why you're late, Tosh. And I like you dressed as Spike Lee.
He does look like Spike Lee, doesn't he?
That's also, he's a proper director, not me pretending.
Bobby's always making fun of me, but he makes 10 times the money I make.
It's not about the money.
The director.
I keep telling you, it's not about the money. It's the art.
What do you mean it's not about? Who said it's not about the money?
That's what these guys said yesterday on my rehearsal call with them. Anyway, Tosh is obviously a very, very famous director in East Africa who does a lot of commercials, a lot of good films, and he directed Nairobi Half-Life. I mean, I'm sure everyone there knows him and knows of him and knows of his film. So we're very honored to have you with us, Tosh.
Yes, we are. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for introducing him.
That's okay. So Tosh, I'm going to let you.
Honored to be here. Bobby,
I've introduced myself. Why don't you tell the guys a little bit about yourself?
Okay. First and foremost, forgive me. I've been extremely busy, and I've not really had a chance to find out more about this. I just knew from Bobby and Ella that we're going to talk about film. So I'd like to know who's here. If you can do me that favor. But yeah, so I am a Kenyan filmmaker. And my quest is only one, to make the industry of film in Africa viable, commercially viable, all artists to make a living off their art and to enjoy what they do. So that's what I really get up every day to try and make sure it happens. Yeah, and I direct commercials, short stories, TV, series, and I've got 2 movies under my belt so far.
2 movies, which ones?
So the first one is Nairobi Half-Life, which was shot in 2010, premiered in 2012 in Durban, went ahead to win a lot of awards to my surprise.
Ooh.
And then the second one is a romantic comedy we did in 2018, which is soon going to be on a platform near you soon. I know a lot of people have not had a chance to watch it, but soon you're going to have it. No, it is there. It's on mymovies.africa, but a lot of people don't really know about that platform. But if you want to see it, it's there. You can rent it for 100 bob, and you can also buy for 400 bob. So yeah.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tosh.
See a proper filmmaker there. Unlike Tosh, I only shoot commercials, corporate films, and commercials and corporate films, and even though I worked on all those feature films earlier on, so I quickly shared. Go ahead, sorry, Tosh.
Bobby likes short films, quick films.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a people person, as you know.
Just a minute, Bobby. Someone has a question for Tosh. One really quick one. They'd like him to repeat the name of the movie, the romantic comedy.
It's called Disconnect, and I'm gonna also type it here. So
Disconnect. Yeah, thank you, Tosh. You do that.
Yeah.
Good man.
Available on My Movies. Hello.
mymovie.africa.com.
Thank you for
that. At the moment,
Tosh.
you can only access this in Kenya. Yeah, only in Kenya at the moment. Oh, sorry. mymovie.africa.com. Sorry. There you go.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'll show you. I was just explaining to the guys. I showed them a storyboard and a mood board and wardrobe and the art director's board. So now I'm just going to share, Ella, with you the finished commercial. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Not that one. I'm having issues with this. Just bear with me.
No pressure, Bobby. No pressure.
Some reason. Do you see this? That's wrong one. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. There we go.
So that's the film. Like I said, it was $680,000 budget, slightly less than Tosh's films. But it's, I mean, like we had the car flown in from England, and it cost $120,000 because it comes all separate, and it came in a DHL box, and with 8 people to rebuild it in Saudi Arabia. So, which is why it will cost and everything adds up. So that's the sort of things I do. And then having worked with Tosh earlier in my career, we shot the Pwani commercials, not Pwani Foods, Fresh Fry, especially the one that got banned with a young lady being slightly coy about interacting with food. Don't know if some of you saw that. Don't know if Tosh remembers that one. But, I showed Ellah yesterday. It was one that got banned in Kenya, which is the best thing that could happen really for films, because you can't get better publicity than that, as Tosh will tell you. Anything controversial will get you free publicity. But Tosh was very, very good as my first AD on 1 or 2 jobs before he jumped ship, and then he could see how easy it was to do. And he goes, "If you can do that, I can do that." And then he went on to do feature films. So that's, I mean, I'm sure you've got Tosh's website or his Vimeo link that the guys can look at his work and also my work. And so I'm a director and DOP. I still DOP for other directors. In fact, I've DOP'd for Tosh on a couple of, which is great. Really, really good fun. And the last couple of things I've done in Kenya was the Safaricom 18, like I said. I don't know, probably you haven't seen it because some of them weren't even broadcast. Let me just see if I can put up one for you. Just bear with me. So I did this. Can you see this, Zarika?
Yeah.
Again, this is for Sarah Safaricom.
Wacha tuseme mimi ni boxer na mimi ni mama. Niko na watoto wawili. Naangalia sana internet, nikiangalia kina Leila vile wao hucheza, nikiangalia Mayweather vile yeye hucheza.
You see that?
Sasa hiyo kila mtu alikuwa anasema
Ellah, you see that?
Yes.
I'm seeing a PowerPoint for Pwani. Maybe
oh,
my
sorry.
internet.
Oh, sorry, my bad. My bad, let me get that.
But my internet could be slow, so I don't know.
No, it's still on the PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, let me do that. Okay. Yeah. Can you see the screen now? Or not?
Yeah.
You see it?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Wacha tuseme mimi ni boxer na mimi ni mama. Niko na watoto wawili. Naangalia sana internet, nikiangalia kina Leila vile wao hucheza, nikiangalia Mayweather vile yeye hucheza. Sasa hiyo kila mtu alikuwa anasema kwamba wewe umeisha, vitu kama hizo haufai kucheza boxing, unafaa kuacha boxing. But nikaendelea, nilitaka ku prove watu wrong. kuna watu wenye ambapo wanajaribu kuleta watu down, lakini usikubali kitu kama hiyo kuingia kwa akili, juu ukigive up inakuwa ni maisha yako ambapo una give up. Hakuna mtu yeyote mwenye ambapo anaweza kuja akakuamsha kukwambia enda kazi, unataka ukula, ni lazima uamke, ni lazima uende kazi. Hakuna kitu yenye ambapo inakujanga virahisi, ni lazima struggle ndio ufike mahali ambapo unafika.
Tuko nawe kila wakati.
So that was one, and this is another one. Again, these films weren't in the brief, but because I had these people, I just shot them for myself, and then I presented them to Safaricom, and they liked them. And this was another.
Whatever struggles we go through, the most important thing is how we come out, because we all have struggles. But do we sit down and cry about it and we do nothing? You know, I was always that kid who guys will be like, who is going to attend this? Of course not me. Guys never took me serious. For me, remembering those people who've held your hand from when you're nothing, who stick by you, who correct you, people who will tell you you're wrong, even when you don't want to hear it. For me, I live for days to make those people happy. As long as I'm alive, I want to make people happy.
Tuko nawe kila wakati.
So, I mean, that was ones I did. I'm just going to show you one more, which they didn't show at all, because I'll tell you the reason afterward. It hasn't got music, but I'll just show you the visuals for it. 1 second. Just bear with me. Are you there?
Yeah, we're still here. We're still here.
Well, you disappeared from my screen. Bear with me. Tosh? I don't know if you've seen those before. Sorry, I'm just trying to find you. You disappeared from my screen.
Who, me? I'm here.
Yeah. So sorry. Anyway, I'll try. Okay, one second. There you go. Just bear with me. So this one hasn't got music, it hasn't got sound, but I did the edit, but I'll tell you afterwards why they didn't show it. Oh, sorry.
We're looking at
Yeah,
we're looking
you see
at
it?
a storyboard.
Oh, sorry.
We're looking at the storyboard, yeah.
My bad. I'm not very good at this. I'm better behind the camera.
Not to worry, man. Not to worry.
Just here. Coming up now. So this is, I mean, obviously we had all these people for the Safaricom 18 thing, and we did one with Kipchoge.
Kipchoge.
Yeah. 1 second. Do you see it now? Or you still got the storyboard?
Yeah, still on the storyboard.
Oh. 1 second. Oh, there we go. You see now? You see the see Kipchoge now?
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
So that was Kipchoge's commercial, but they didn't want to use it because no one could understand his English, so they never broadcast it, which I thought was very strange. So, I mean, they spent a lot of money on him to do that. You know, he gave us 3 hours work or something, and then they never used it. Anyway, so that's a little bit about me and my films and stuff. And Tosh, you want to share some of your stuff?
Oh, that's it? You're done? There's nothing else you'd like to share with us?
I think the rest of the stuff that people can look on my Vimeo site rather than go through. And if they want to ask questions, then we can, you know, because they can always look on my Vimeo site to look at all the other films I've done.
Okay. I think, yeah, we can have Tosh now. And then once he's done, then we can have the Q&A, yeah?
Yo, Tosh, you're on. I don't know if you can hear us.
I hope you can hear us.
Tosh?
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry.
I think Tosh's internet is bad. Tosh, can you hear us?
He's frozen now.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Okay.
Do you want to do you want me to show some stuff and then?
Oh, there's Tosh. He's back. Tosh, you're back. You're frozen.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Hello. Oh, sorry, man. I have very bad internet.
I was going to say, Tosh, if you got some stuff of yours to share, and then we can go into some questions.
Okay, so what do guys want to know? Let's start from there.
You want a Q&A for yourself? Okay, guys, you can ask your questions. I think I have something I can share here. Tosh, when did you get into the industry?
Wow. Which are we? 2020. I got into the industry in 2002. Yeah, it's been 18 years.
It's a long time.
Yep. Straight from college, and I think I was 21 or something, and I started right from the bottom. I used to photocopy scripts. You know how that time I don't think they had the copiers that they have now that churn out 20 pages at a go. That time it used to be one by one. So you can imagine copying 50 to 100 scripts.
Yeah, it must have been hectic.
And the script had 100 pages, so one by one. Yeah, so I used to spend like 2 weeks doing that every day, morning to evening. And I still hate photocopiers till now.
PTSD,
but I appreciate what they have evolved to. You know, you just plunk the whole thing in there and it just churns out. You want 20, you want 30, and it arranges itself. That stuff amazes me. I know like some magic. Of you may not understand what it means. Yes. So started right from the bottom, doing all the hard work. Yes. Got lucky enough that there were still international films being shot here, and most of them used to be foreign. So that means we were in the bush most of the time. It was hard, you know. I remember at one time we're in such a remote place and we had to sleep in tents. And I had this small Coleman tent and a thin mattress. And the whole night there was something that I felt under the mattress, and I kept thinking it's a log. And it really bothered me. And in the morning I was like, let's get this thing out or move my tent because this log just can't let me sleep. And in the morning, when we moved the tent, it was a pufferder.
What?
That was under. Yeah. So we've gone through. Filmmaking is interesting. I have learned the art of making film in the most interesting and hard manners there is. So it's been quite an experience. So those days I used to be an assistant, a production assistant, but then I started finding myself loving the director's department more. Um, and again, those days the hierarchy was very, very, and Bobby can tell you, was the hierarchy was deep. You know, the directors, what you call the director's tent was sacred. Even if you're on the same project, uh, you barely came close to the director's chair or the director's monitor or and you stayed far. And I think that's one of the things that fascinated me about directing. You know, directors used to seem, sorry, easy. I'll call you right back. I'm on a Zoom call, sir. So
Yes, Tosh.
hold on. Something has happened. I lost. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
we
can
can
hear
hear you,
you.
Tosh.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that seeing that in the early days, what the director seemed like a small god really fascinated me. And so I started getting drawn more into the director's department. And what I did, and I want a lot of young filmmakers, if we have young filmmakers here listening, is that you've got to really put yourself out there all the time. And so I was what you call a third assistant director, whose work was to bring the extras to set, and then you hand them over for them to be told what to do. Really, just basically like really walk people from point A to B and C to D and so forth. But I used to watch what the first AD was doing all the time. I used to watch the first AD arranging the extras, and I started doing that by myself. So when I brought them in the morning, I would place them. I would read the call sheet the whole night and understand the shots and understand what was being shot. And then I would, in the morning, be there, the first person. I would bring the extras and then I would place them according to what the shot was. And then I would watch and see what the assistant director changed. And with time, I started getting better with it. And, so that meant I was an asset. Hello?
Yeah, you're
Hello,
still there,
Tosh.
Tosh.
We can hear you. We can hear you. You're good.
Yeah. So that meant I started becoming an asset to the first assistant director. And so he started pulling me closer to him. In the evening, when they had meetings about the following day, he started calling me in. And by the time that movie was finished, I was very close to that director's tent that always used to seem so far. And it went on like that. The next film, the film after that, I moved on up the ladder very quickly, second assistant, and then finally I became a first assistant director. And then I stayed there for a while because directing was still, this thing
What you were crazy
that I
about.
knew for a long time. I knew that's the king. I didn't feel
That's the dream.
worthy to be. Yeah, I didn't feel
I think Tosh,
worthy already.
Tosh it was more to do with the director's tent had the best food and drinks in there. When it came out.
Well, yeah. There's that too, man. I mean, the director's tent was the thing. That's why everybody of importance, seems
So
to
what was
be.
your first day? What was your first AD job? Do you remember? What was it that the first job you did as a first AD?
Yes, I remember. It was a series called Heartbeat FM. I cannot remember for the life of me which year it was, but it was around 2006, maybe 2007. And it was a series that was shot in Nairobi about a radio station. And that was the first time I first AD'd. And we had this, oh my God, I lost power.
Oh my goodness.
But it's okay. You can hear me. So
Yeah, we can hear you.
That's some of my best lighting there, Tosh.
So luckily I had been on I started working with Njeri Karago. Some of you may know her. I should come back from the States. We had done a film called Dangerous Affair. That was the first film where I used to photocopy. So I knew how to break down scripts, and I knew all this stuff. And I just got into it, man. You can imagine first ADing a whole 13 episode series as your first gig. But I went in, feet, hands, everything in. It was tough, but we got through. And I think that really built up my confidence. And from there, it was just going up.
Wow.
Impressive.
That's a serious
That
story.
is really impressive, Tosh.
And obviously then it's a very brave move to say, right, I'm not going to first AD anymore. Now I'm a director.
Definitely. I mean, in fact, my first directing gig was not even by my own volition. Some of you may remember a series called Changes that used to come on Mnet. So Mnet had decided to do local content. And they started in South Africa with a show called Jacob's Cross. And they had decided to do better quality shows and more thoughtful and develop shows. And they had done this Jacob's Cross that was very successful. And so they decided to do regional. And so when they came to East Africa, the first two shows were, so they were torn between two shows. There was a show called Changes and another one called The Agency. And so they decided to just do both and see how they fare. And whichever did better then would go to season 2. Unfortunately for us, The Agency did not do well in terms of delivery. And a lot of money was lost and it basically tanked. While we had just done one season. And so we were caught in a space where, sorry, I'm ahead of myself. So Changes and Agency were done, season one. And I was the first assistant on Changes 1. But apparently, I was very instrumental in getting the show moving across, even in terms of directing. I was helping the director and I didn't even realize. And so the producers were watching. And come season 2, the producer was like, we think you should be directing. And I was like, no. So it took like a week of prodding, and the producer was like, you're doing this, Tosh. And so after a week of prodding, I decided, you know what, maybe I need to get over my fear. This is it. And I took on season 2 to direct. And now, so when you shoot a series, the number one rule is that you shoot it out of okay, when you shoot a film, you have to shoot out of sequence because you can't keep moving from bedroom in this location to sitting room in the other location, then come back. You have to make a plan. And so with series, it's the same. But with the way series were funded, you've got to deliver something before you get your next payment. So you've got them to shoot them in blocks. So if you have 13 episodes, you've got to break it up. So you have a block of 1 to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that. So you have about 3 blocks. And so we didn't know that. So we broke down the whole 13 episodes as we would break down a movie. That means we were going to shoot all the bedroom shots of, say, Adam's house for the whole 13 episodes. So then you can imagine that it will take forever. You have to have shot 90% before you start seeing any full episode, because you're shooting way out of sequence. But when you shoot in blocks, then it only means that your the first 4 episodes are the ones you shoot out of sequence, and that means you can complete them quicker, and then you get the next block 5 and so forth. So we were shooting out of sequence for the whole 13, and then something happened with the agency, and some money was misappropriated or something, and that series tanked. And now Mnet was like, we are not releasing any more money for you guys too until you deliver episodes. Now, this is my first time directing. We already started shooting out of sequence 13 episodes. Now they're saying we're not giving any more money until we see episode 1 to 4 complete. It was a nightmare, I used to talk to crew every day, guys. It's either we carry on or to save our names or whatever. This is a huge chance for us to, show what we can do, or we quit and we lose everything, not the show and not even the money. So I think that was one of my first time directing also honed my leadership skills, because again, there's a lesson I came to learn later when I did Nairobi Half-Life, that the head stinks. If there are any directors here, you must understand that the fish stinks from the head. So you're the head. If you're slow, everybody's slow. If you don't know what you're doing, then everybody doesn't know what they're doing. So I learned, I came later to understand what I was learning in that first time when I was directing.
That's crazy. And Tosh, one other thing that the guys probably don't realize, that even though you shot all the bedroom scenes in one block, you had to change wardrobe so many times so it fits in the 4 episodes, and then keep a track of what wardrobe that person was wearing for which scene.
Continuity.
Oh man, it was a nightmare. It was so messy. And then remember, we are not experienced, all of us are all learning on the job. So you can imagine how many times we had to reshoot. We used to work every day 18 to 20 hours daily. It was horrible, but I wouldn't exchange it for anything, because it set a benchmark for me for what not to do. Even directing a whole 13 episodes as the only director, there are many directors who feel I can do it. It's not worth it. You're just gonna ruin the whole show. That's why even if you look at the good shows that you guys love watching, you will never find a series with only one director. There's going to be about 3.
Yeah.
A director for each block, because you need the prep time. You need also to sit down and edit. And preparation is so key. It's very important to prepare well. So you need the time.
Very good. Very good. I don't think I could do a TV series. That sounds like a lot of pressure.
Yeah, there's a question here from Brenda. Oh my God.
Should I read it out loud? Okay, Brenda asked, she says, to both Bobby and Tosh, I have a TV show. I have shot 2 episodes with my own money. That's how much she believes in the project. How do I go about pitching to stations? How do I know who to approach? Tosh and Bobby?
Tosh, yours.
Oh my God. Unfortunately, in Kenya, and it's sad, with the TV stations, they're still not in a place to understand what it takes to make good TV shows, unfortunately. The system that is there right now is about, I have an idea. Okay, we'll pay you 50,000 bob an episode. You know, go and write it, start shooting next week. And that's the problem. Or you go with your idea and they say, oh, we're not doing any shows now. And then 6 months later, you find your show there with another name. So we are struggling to change the whole game and to change the approach, because it's high time these guys started respecting the process of creating this piece of art.
Right.
And I think it's been disrespected for so long. And I would not advise any creative to pitch the TV stations right now until we can fix that respect, because it's not easy. You know, I commend you for shooting 2 episodes already. I know I've done it from scratch. I know how hard and painful it is. But I would advise you to find other ways, even if it's to approach someone for product placement, and then put it on YouTube, grow your numbers, so that by the season 2, you have numbers. You can go to somebody and say, look, I've got 200,000 people watching every episode. You know, now you have you're in a different position.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. To put it on YouTube is very. I mean, the only person I know, and Tosh, you know, is Appy. You know, who might have some contacts. You know, there's a producer called Appy Matre, is it? Matre, who's a Kenyan producer who does TV shows and series. But I mean,
I mean, Appy has done it, but it's very difficult, and you find yourself getting into trouble also with the industry, because not everybody understands how difficult it is to get this stuff done, get paid, you know, and it all goes back to that.
The idea of YouTube is so good. If you get so many followers, I mean, you guys all are influencers now. I mean, anybody. And unfortunately, I have to shoot commercials with influencers now, and they're just muppets as far as I'm concerned. They're hardware.
So this is what,
you know.
Sorry, Nduta is asking about what about Maisha Magic. Maisha Magic is also commissioning stuff, but what they commission, they own. So if you're willing to give a lot of your rights to the show, your creative, what is it called?
Muscle, creative muscle.
Yeah, your creative power also, you want to give it away, then by all means. But you're going to lose, you have to be prepared to lose a lot. If it's your baby that you cherish, you have to be prepared for that. But yeah, the Kenyan space, the creative disrespect is at an all-time high. And until we change that, then it's very difficult for you. And I keep telling every young filmmaker I come across, remember, nobody really gives a shit. Sorry for my language. Nobody cares. You've got to drum that into your head. Nobody cares. They only care about if it's going to be beneficial to them. And you will see, the moment you you do something that is successful. People you tried to meet suddenly available to meet you that you couldn't meet, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not because that you changed, your skin color changed or you became somebody else. It's just because of what you have done. So you should always focus on what's that product. Does that product get out there and get millions of people going crazy about it? Then your value goes up. Focus on that. That's all you need to focus.
Thank you, Tosh. Mary says, I'm an animator with a background in film from Kenyatta University. Shared classes with Julius back then. My question for Bobby, what advice would you give me in line to getting my animated content funded or selling animated content to Disney or Universal?
I mean, I 100% I don't know the answer to that, but it's very difficult to even get near any of those people. I mean, again, YouTube is such a great place. Even if you don't put your whole film in there, even if you put a minute or 2 minutes worth of your content online, and you get a following, I don't know, 20,000, 10,000, 5,000, whatever, and someone will notice it. There's people out there always looking for what's fresh, what's coming up. Yeah, and someone will notice it and someone will pass it on. But trying to get direct to a studio in Disney or Universal is virtually impossible unless you have a contact and a name, or you work with
Okay.
an animation company. You go and work part of an animation company, who do animation work, and then your work gets recognized because people are always from Disney and Universal always looking at animators or what work goes on online, and if they like it, they approach you.
All right. Thank you for that. So Ashley asks, this is a question for Tosh. Do you think the problem with Kenyan TV stations might be poor contracts with creatives? Tosh?
No, so it's not about contracts. It's what I said, the disrespect. Again, it's that thing of, if you look at the Kenyan TV space, and I'll tell you this is where the problem is. TV stations make their money from advertising. I'll compare the Kenyan space with the American space. Why do you have so many good shows coming from the American space? It's because the way their module works and the way it should work everywhere is that um, advertisers put money, companies put money where the numbers are. So AT&T will look at NBS and say, guys are watching NBC or whatever, and say, guys are watching FBI show on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Put my ad around that. So when a show is having 4.5 to or and over million views every time, that means it's highly sought after. That means to be around that space, then you've got to pay top dollar. That's why you see a lot of shows in America get to episode 4 and they're canceled. They don't play. Your show has to be so good because the stakes are high. Now, you come back to the Kenyan space. Only about 10% of advertisers in the country do above the line. How many TV stations do we have? About 7 that are major. So you find a company like Safaricom will put its ad across the board to reach more people. It's all again about numbers and eyeballs. So they'll be like, the major stations are only 3: Citizen, Nation, KTN. Then the others, KTN24, they start coming there sharing the market share. So they're like, it's not a big deal for them to put their ad across 7 stations. Okay? The stations are comfortable with this because then they've already asserted their positions. And that is why you're finding your local TV, when Citizen puts Sesmondo at 8, it will be Sesmondolio in NTV and says Kosororo in K, you know, same. Okay, because they don't want to spend. They don't want to spend the money to compete. But what's happening now is that the digital space has come and dropped them off that comfort. And the clients are starting, the advertisers are starting to be like, I don't want to put it on TV. I'd rather put it on digital. These are kind of, it's starting to get to a point in Kenya where you have to now start being specific. Who are you talking to? And that's where then it starts changing for us, because if your show is talking to an 18-year-old, then that means if they want to talk to an 18-year-old, they have to come around your show. So that's when the game will start to change. And that's what we keep fighting for. That's why we're doing content and putting on YouTube that is better than what is currently being done, because we are capable of that. But we need to start gathering the numbers around our content. And that way, we will attract all these advertisers. And the TV stations will start to have no choice but to compete. And competition means what? Better. The work starts getting better. You know, the stations will start paying more attention to the content they put. They will start trying to be different, and that's where we need to get to. So it's really not about contracts. It's really about the whole landscape. Sorry for my long answers.
No, that was very extensive. Thank you. Mary feels that the question has been answered extensively, so thank you.
Okay, and then Tosh, I was just going to say, I mean, I think out of the last 20 commercials I've done, 18 of them have been for social media, not for TV. And unfortunately, what happens now is the client and the agency say, oh, but it's got to be cheaper because it's for social media, which is just rubbish, because it doesn't matter where, you know, you can put a commercial in the films that we shoot, myself, Tosh, and you know, when you get to that level, you can put them in the cinema or you can put them in the toilet. They're still going to cost as much money to give it the best quality. Do we deliver you the best quality? You can put it where you want. Because what happens is the agency and the client, even though it's social media, they still want their tents. They still want their air conditioning. They still want their cars to be picked up. They said, well, where do we save the money then? They said, oh, but it doesn't make a difference if it's social media or TV. We deliver you a 3.2 4K quality piece of filmmaking or TV commercial that you can put anywhere. So, but we're fighting that now. And unfortunately, I'm Tosh, you're aware of this already. People will use this COVID-19 excuse. Oh, we haven't got money because of COVID-19.
Yeah,
and already,
it's already happening.
Yeah, it's already happening. I and a friend of mine, director, got asked last week, oh, is that your pre-COVID rate or post-COVID rate? Say, okay, is that my pre-COVID meal or my post-COVID meal? Am I still eating or what? You know, unfortunately, clients will take, an agency will take advantage of this. And at the end of the day, Tosh knows this, someone will do the job. But because they don't, if they don't see like for like, this is what it could have been, and just been given what it is, then they don't know that's a pile of shit. Or that's, you know, that's good quality. Because at the end of the day, clients don't really know. To them, unfortunately, it's all about the money.
And it goes back. Yeah, and it goes back, Bobby, it goes back to when they say that it's for social media, it's cheap. It's because for what they're used to, that media costs has always been expensive. And media has always been expensive. Why? It's because they've had the numbers. And that's why I keep stressing here. Focus on getting those numbers behind you. Focus on the craft. Focus on doing better than what people are already seeing here. You know, take more time in developing your content. There is so much content out there now, it's even more difficult. So if you gain those numbers, if you start putting stuff on YouTube and you're getting 1 million views, you're better than a lot of TV stations. They will pay attention. You know, you can walk into Safaricom and say, look, I did this season 1. I was getting 1 million views every episode. I need you to put for money product placements in season 2. They will listen to you. They will, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to spend more money than they have to. And I can imagine one creative will not cost as much as the whole of nation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how influencers make money. You know, they get followers.
That's how we need to start thinking. That's how we need to start thinking. Every filmmaker needs to start thinking like that. Stop thinking so much about where you're going to take your content. Think way more about, is my content better than what's on there now? If you're not happy with it, go back to the drawing board. Only come out when you feel I can challenge.
Tosh will tell you, be different, take risks. Don't be just like the herd. You know, like every other person's film, every other person's clip, every other person's video. Be different, do something different. Even if it's crazy, think outside the box, because that's the only way you're going to get noticed.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a question from Duta. She says that I also think that we do not have screen culture in Kenya. What exactly can we do as creators to change that particular narrative? And
I honestly think we've answered that question in
yeah,
what we talked about, the content itself.
yes, that's what extent.
Kenyans love this. Kenyans love their own. Yeah, we saw it in Nairobi Half-Life before. My uncle tells me in the 70s, in the 80s, they used to flock the cinemas. We want to see our own content, but you must remember, these people you're bringing your content to are exposed to House of Cards. So don't say, oh, they're not watching my content. Remember, for someone to sit down, and this is what I always tell myself, for someone to sit down and get through an episode of 45 minutes, it means they're pulled in. So I compare myself to House of Cards. Is my show as good as House of Cards? Is my show as good as Homeland? Is my show as good as Game of Thrones? I know I don't have the same budgets, but that's how you need to start looking at your content. And then you're going to get those numbers, definitely. People will never ignore something that is good.
Okay,
True.
that makes sense.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
A while back, Shiko had asked, what's the best way to monetize short films? And I feel like that's been answered too.
Again, short films, the best route for short films is really the festivals. There's a lot of festivals out there for short films, and those festivals really get filmmakers noticed. So you should explore. There's some, now it's better with us going online. It's way better than when I was moving around in Nairobi Half-Life. It was hectic, but now there's websites that you just log into, and they've got listed.
Right.
They've listed all the festivals that are there in the world, and you can go through them and choose what festival feels
Right.
good for your film, and you apply. So that's one of the for short films, I find that's one of the best approaches.
Right.
Jante asked, she wants to know about how to raise money for an independent film.
Before we move to that other question,
yes.
Guys, can you for once just be quiet?
yes,
Thank
speaking
you.
and to mute them, there are some who need to mute their mics. Okay, good. So, before we move on, Dr. whatever I'm talking about is called free. Once you do freeway, you'll find every the first course has been listed. Very comfortably, but also are free without fees. With those that charge, you can ask for them, and they actually.
Rodriguez, I'm not too sure. I think your net is unstable. I can't quite hear you. Can you guys hear him?
Oh, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you now, sort of.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I was saying, I was talking about what Tosh was talking about in regards to film festivals, and basically it was to say that film festivals. There's a place called Film Freeway. It's a website, and you can nominate or submit or put your films there. There are a lot of film festivals that can be able to help young filmmakers be able to do the kind of things that they do. And I was also saying that there are film festivals that charge, and then there are others that are free. But then you can also ask for waivers from those organizations, those festivals, and they would agree to give you waivers as well.
Interesting. Freeway, thank you.
Someone's asking, does the gear
Yes,
matter?
Film Freeway. Yes, the Film Freeway.
Sorry, Ellah. I was saying, someone's asking, does the gear matter while you're shooting? Yes, it does. You know, you want to obviously use as good quality gear as you can. For me, my go-to camera is the Mini Alexa. I'm sure Tosh, you're the same. You know, it's the best quality camera that you know, 3.2K, amazing quality, amazing look. So it does make a difference. Leroy is asking if that was Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. Yes, it was. And I got to shoot the promo as well. I don't know if you want to see that.
Yeah, we could see them, I guess.
Let me just see if I can bring that up.
Please do.
Okay. Do you see my screen? You see this?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So while I was there, I shot this promo. I had the guys for 90 minutes each, and they told me I would.
Bobby.
Yeah.
What exactly are you showing us? What we can see is something from the Daria project.
Bobby.
Oh, sorry. 1 second. I'm gonna stop. Pause.
You have to keep sharing again. That's what's so annoying about this thing.
Okay. You see it now? Yeah.
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 Yes. Yes.
Being a champion has responsibilities, and it's about having a championship mindset. We will fight for them again, and this time around it's Saudi Arabia.
So I got to do that in 90 minutes with each boxer, and none of the boxers could see each other. So we had to, because obviously they on that evening they were going to do the press conference, and it was so strange. We had each one came with 25 bouncers, and in their black Range Rovers into that festival, and it was crazy trying to get anywhere near them and to shoot that for the commercial and for the promo, which they didn't ask for. I just shot that for myself, and then I gave it to them, and they used it. And so, you know, the reason they fought in Saudi Arabia wasn't because they loved Saudi Arabia. Anthony Joshua got $20 million and Ruiz got $8 million. Not for the fight, just to fight there. That doesn't include the purse. So I don't think they're going to be worried for a while about anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do I start my boxing lessons, man?
Makes a lot of money, huh?
Yeah.
That's 2 billion Kenyan shillings.
Yeah. I remember, Tosh, when you finished that first series, I remember you going out and buying your Volkswagen Touareg. It's a bigger, Tosh has a bigger car than I've got.
Wow.
You must work hard.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, Tosh, I was going to say yesterday, the guys.
Bobby,
it's whatever you think you're worth. Sorry, I was saying.
Bobby, you froze.
Okay. Am I back now?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Okay. So, Tosh, I was saying yesterday, the guys were asking me, how much do I make? And I said, we better ask Tosh that question, because it doesn't work like that. It works on project basis, and you get paid what you think you're worth.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta keep working, because you get paid per project. So at the end of the year, you have to count the number of.
And for the first 10, 15 years, if you're in it for the money, forget it, guys, because you're not going to see anything until you get your foot in a holding and start to get regular work. You're not going to be making any money.
Sad truth, but thank you for that. So let's take a question from Ashley. She asks, how do we improve on lighting African skin? As we all know, lighter complexions are easier and more reflective. I wish there was more content on this. How do we improve on lighting African skin?
That's a Bobby question.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, it's when I first started shooting in Kenya and with African people, I was shooting on film. A lot of you probably don't remember film cameras. Tosh probably still does. So it was more difficult because your latitude was so, your exposure, you could get your exposure wrong within 1.5 stops, underexposed, overexposed, and that you were done. You couldn't do it. Now with digital cameras, you can be 6, 7 stops under or overexposed, and in post you can still pull it back. I'm not saying do that, but with the latitude of the new cameras, you can pull back. But lighting skin, you just get an eye for it. There's no other way. You can see on the camera, and you can't beat experience. I mean, Tosh will tell you, from directing, from lighting, from any department, the more work you do, the more experience you get. Every job is a learning process.
Okay, thank you. And there's a question from Jante. She asks Tosh, what do you wish you knew when starting out on Nairobi Half-Life that you know now? What mistakes did you make along the way? Tosh? Hello?
And can you hear me now? Can you hear?
Yes.
I would say nothing. Because that's the process. Everywhere you are in life is meant to be. The only thing I can say is that always do more than you're asked. Like I was saying earlier, what I did when I used to be just an assistant who was supposed to bring the extras to set. I taught myself how to block them. Until today, you will be surprised that I took that across to Fast ADing, and Bobby knows I've worked for him as an AD. He has never had to redo the extra bits. I have carried that craft till today, and it becomes something that for me it's natural. I actually just know where to put people, but it's about doing more than you asked every time. Insert yourself, exert yourself, do more, and you will always come out learning. I'll give you a small, quick story. When we first established our company in 2011 with my business partner called Easy. Some of you may know him. Easy is a very good producer. The first job we got was a big Coke job, and we had no experience. We had never done a job as ourselves. We've always been freelancers, and here we are. We started a production company, and all of a sudden
tell them the name of the production company. You're not very good at marketing.
Film Crew in Africa, Film Crew in Africa Limited. And we found ourselves pitching for a cook job against one of the biggest commercial production house in the country that Bobby used to work for.
And I pitched for that job.
Yes, and Bobby pitched. Now we were suddenly pitching against Bobby. We had no showreel. We only had ourselves as having been in the industry, and we won that job. It was hectic because we didn't have the experience, but we believed in ourselves. We believed in what we were going to do, and that job showed us what was important. We were almost losing the job because there was a lot of people who were working behind the scenes. It's called, I think you guys understand the blue ocean and the red ocean. The red ocean is hectic, the bigger the fish to eat, the more the hustle and the tussle of the sharks. So we were pitted against some of the biggest dogs in the industry, and we were losing that job, and because we kept being asked for things just for us to be disqualified, but we kept coming through. And something at the end, before we got the job, we gave up, but we didn't give up in terms of we're not good enough. We gave up in terms of we keep going, whatever the case. And what I learned from that time, and thank God it happened at the beginning of me running a company, I learned that value is not money. Value is what you put in a project, and value is the project. Value is what you do. And we were okay because we had done the best we could do. And we won the job and we gave it the best. It was a success going up. And every landing you get to teaches you something and you get something from it and you continue like that.
So Tosh, someone's asking you and me, when did we start to make money from our craft? I'm not there yet. I don't know about you. I think it took, for me to make a living, it took me 5 years. The other 4 years, I was just surviving.
I think I'm still surviving.
Yeah.
I'm still in the surviving phase. There's still a lot I would like to do, but it's still, as again, we're in Africa and we're in Kenya and we really don't have an industry as of yet, and Bobby, who's experienced across the world, can tell you the big differences, between what we have here, what's in Dubai, what's in the UK, and so forth. We still have a long way.
And budgets as well in Kenya compared to everywhere else. In the UK, one shoot day is £160,000 just for the shoot day. In Dubai, it's $100,000 a day minimum to do a one shoot day. Yeah, so that's just a shoot, just for the production. You know, I mean, if you're lucky, you might get away with $80,000, but anything less than that, no production company will touch it. You know, so obviously the budgets in Kenya are nowhere near
And
that. And then
for us, those are the big budgets.
yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. You know, we have more games and toys to play with and more commercials. You know, I mean, industry in Kenya the last few years has been very quiet in terms of the advertising, and for you as well, Tosh, in terms of content. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I know you guys are always fighting for local content and for people to employ local people. You know, because you've got talented, you know, directors like yourself and some talented DOPs now who are up there, you know, doing good work. You know, and they should make use of that. You know. You know, as
Yeah.
much as I love coming to Kenya and I love it, because I mean, obviously, I'm in a very privileged position. I'm known as an international director, whereas Tosh is known as a local director. You know, only the reason for that is because they fly me in from another country to do the job. You know,
Yeah.
And that obviously reflects in the rates as well, then, because they've got to pay for flights, hotel, accommodation, everything like that. You know. But there's good films, good commercials coming out of East Africa, out of Kenya. You know, some good people doing some good work.
Did we lose Ella? So there's another question here. For most artists, it's an issue to price themselves. Maybe could you give a range of what different artists can charge, say directors, actors? Because for most of us, tunati ku price, no one in the industry is talking about figures. Yeah, so I think for director rates, it depends. Is different. Commercials, of course, is more demanding. And when it comes to long format, you charge weekly and so forth. So the rates for director for commercial range all the way from, I would not say to you direct a commercial for less than $1,000, $2,000, $4,000, $6,000. There's directors $10,000 a day per shoot day, up to even 20, 30,000. So in our market, I think the most they'll pay for a while back at Corner Baridi, yes?
Oh, you did that with MGM, didn't you? On the table, Corner Baridi, I remember.
Yes, the table at Corner Baridi. Yeah, it was cold. What a day. So your question is, you want to do more and reach out to brands. How do I do this? Knitting up baby diapers. Keep doing this. Keep putting, again, it all goes back to your work. Yeah. People don't care about Brenda or they don't care about Tosh. They care about that ad that looks good that they could afford to make. You know, so find your space, you know, and I'll tell you this for free. Again, the above the line advertising
Tosh, I can't hear you, Tosh.
is only about less than 10% of the market. There is a lot of people, a lot of businesses, $1 million to make an advert, but they don't do it because, can you hear me? Yoo-hoo!
Yeah. Can hear you now.
Hello? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of companies.
Hear you now.
Okay. So there's a lot of companies about in that 90% space that want to make adverts and even just put on social media and can spend between 500,000 to 2 million shillings to make an advert. And if you're starting out small, I would encourage you to attack this space. You know, think of ways of making even ads that cost 200K, just that you get to be able to build your reel. I think maybe Bobby had talked about a reel. For us directors, our show reels are what sells us. Those are our CVs. The more work you have, you know, and for you, if you're starting out, then I would encourage you and tell you that your space is cost. And that market that is untapped, that wants to do ads but can't afford what the other top tier people are doing, and then build from there. You know, go to my Vimeo, go to Bobby's Vimeo, look at our work, see what Above the Line is doing, you know, and then make sure you build your work close to that. But for that market that is untapped, I think you can grow very easily there.
Okay, another question.
There's another question here. Okay, Ellah.
Do you have any pointers?
Go on, Ellah.
Do you have any pointers on how to raise money for an independent film?
Oh my God, I've been trying. I have a series called The Nairobians that I've been developing and trying to sell for the last 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It is so hard. But what I've learned, and I don't give up easily, that show has kept on evolving. At one point, I even did one episode, and I did a trailer that got leaked on the internet, and people were quite excited, and it never came because it was not supposed to be out. Again, it goes back to numbers, and is it something that people want to see? Now, the people who can spend the kind of money that you need to make a film are unfortunately not in Kenya. So if you want to make an independent film, you've got to start looking at the grants. And usually it's from Europe countries. Those are where at least we have a lot of grants. And so you've got to start reading on their websites like World Cinema, look at what they're looking for, what are they asking for, and then start applying, you know, for these grants. So it's a long and hard road, but if it's a life of a filmmaker, you know, that's the way it is. You struggle for 10 years, and then boom, one time you get lucky.
It is what it is. Okay. There is a question that Rodriguez wanted to answer. I'm not sure if he's done that already. Rodriguez?
Yeah, there's a question that was asked by Nduta about the fact that I had hinted of can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, you can.
Right. So yeah, there's a question that Nduta had asked about the fact that I had hinted of working as a team, even, you know, as we keep discussing this. That is the intention of J.RODRIGUEZ Entertainment. That's why, you know, I brought Bobby in. But of course, that we can't go too much into details with that. But yes, it's something that personally, as the person who heads J.RODRIGUEZ Entertainment, I'd want us to work together. And so over the course of a few, you know, sessions here and there, and preferably after COVID-19, of course, I'm going to get a lot more people involved and see if we can do one project. So yes, Nduta, I am looking to see if we can work together as a team. I know Bobby is one of the coolest filmmakers you'll ever find. He's very calm. He's very relaxed. Doesn't have anything. And I'm glad to meet Tosh. You know, we had spoken earlier. And this is not just the only Zoom session we're gonna have. We're gonna have a lot of Zoom sessions. So this is just the first, and maybe after the third, then we can start talking about working together. Yeah. So we will work together, I'm sure.
Look forward to it.
Thank you. I look forward to it as well. Okay.
Yes, because we have a lot of amazing people. I mean, Bobby. I mean, sorry, Ella. I mean, we have a lot of amazing people here. We have Leroy, who plays the piano really nicely and is a great pianist. And we have, Ella here, and Bobby's here, and Tosh is there. So yeah, and Ashley is here, and a lot of other people are here as well, who I don't know by name. But yeah, so I'm thinking we can get a really big, nice team and work on something really good. Speaking of which, I actually have a series. We'll talk about that.
Good, excellent. Look forward.
Thank you, JR. So I don't think we have any other questions. Do we have any other questions, people? I think not.
Wait, Grace had a question that she wanted to ask. I'm not sure whether she's here or not, but she wanted to ask a question to Tosh, and she was asking whether mentorship in Kenya, as far as the film industry is concerned, is a big concern for them. Like she was aiming towards asking, does someone like Tosh have people that he has under his wing to he's currently mentoring?
Tosh? I don't think Tosh is with us.
Sorry, say that again.
Oh yeah, there he is.
Grace, yeah, good. Grace had a question. There's a participant called Grace. She had a question, and she was asking whether the film industry in Kenya values mentorship, and she was aiming towards asking you particularly if you do have people that you're mentoring right now, as far as the film industry is concerned, and you're teaching them the ropes of the business and things like that.
Yes, definitely. That's something I'm very passionate about. So I get asked this so many times. So in the office, we developed a way of doing it because it can get out of hand. So what we do is that you've got to email us and send us your CV and your intentions. And then you get put into the program because we always have one person per department all the time for at least 3 months. And then, we keep churning round. But as we get more into long format content, that is usually just in the day-to-day production work. But as I'm getting into long format, I'm about to shoot a series very soon. I will again start and put something out there for every department to have at least every week of shoot. There's a new young person who wants to learn the ropes. Yes, participant coming through. So I'm hoping that will come through. I still want to figure out how it can work for a lot more people in the short term that we'll be filming. So yeah, so that's in the works too. But I always find it best to find a formula that is fair and a lot more people can get a chance.
I've been on that waiting list for about 6 months now. So
yeah, you and me both, man. You and me both.
Tosh, someone's asking, they're directing, and I always get nervous before the shoot. I'm like that, before a shoot, because you're anxious, you want to get started, you want to make sure everything is right, and everybody gets like that. I mean, I do. I don't know. I'm sure you do as well. Especially if it's a big job, you think, oh, hope everything's going to go okay. But once you start rolling, it just clicks into place. Yeah. Before you start, it's always like that.
Oh, definitely. Being nervous is a good thing. It means that you're passionate. That happens standard to me every morning when I'm on set, but I always push it aside. And in fact, if I don't get nervous, I get worried.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Because then you're too comfortable.
Yeah, embrace it. It's part of being a director.
And just don't let anybody else know you're nervous. Just do a bit of shouting and screaming, and then everybody will fall into place.
That's Bobby's formula. But so don't just always know and always remember, as a director, that you're the head. Again, that saying, the fish thinks from the head, should always drive you. Always remember, if you're slow, if you're not pushing the crew, you're not pushing your actors to do, nobody else will. It's your duty. And once you understand that, then I think it becomes easier.
Tosh, Mary's asking how you
know. Okay,
how
go ahead.
With coronavirus. I mean, I'm in Dubai. I don't live in Dubai. I've been here 3.5, 4 months now, waiting for my next job, hoping that it would go. I mean, I'm penciled all next month, but nothing is confirming yet because of rules and regulations. And I've done one shoot for Audi last week. I've got a possible 2 shoots the week after next, if it happens, because the shoot's in Abu Dhabi, but Abu Dhabi locked down again this week. And I'm sure, Tosh, as well, you can answer that question on your behalf, how it's affected you, the coronavirus.
So when the lockdown started, I expected that maybe we would be affected for about 2 months.
Yeah.
And then it got 2 months, 3 months, and oh my God, I started feeling panic coming over. And also really, I think this COVID has really changed a lot of things, and changed how we're going to really move forward. Thank God, I think it's starting to open up, because the past 2 weeks have been very hectically busy for me, and I'm lucky and happy about that, because things were not looking too good. But I think in Kenya especially, it's opening up. I think if we keep maintaining the social distance and follow the guidelines, like I have a shoot this Sunday, and I'm having an issue with one of my locations, because it's in one of the residents in the place I'm shooting is not comfortable about people coming to shoot. And these are problems we didn't have before, because now we're not going to their house. What do they care? But then COVID now changes things, so we're adapting as we go along. We're also understanding that things can be done way differently. So it's all a watch and see game at the moment. I think we will really understand as time moves on. But for now, we keep adapting and moving.
True words were never said. From Jante, who did the production design for Nairobi Half-Life? Tosh?
It was a lot of people. Nairobi Half-Life, as you guys know, is a collective effort, and it's designed to teach as many people as we can. So there was a lot of people in that department, with a mentor from Germany. I think production design had at least 4 or 5 people. Barbara Menishi being one of them. We have Kwame Nyong'o. Can't remember who the other 3 were, but yeah, there were many people.
Okay. Teamwork. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I guess that's it. And do we have any more questions? If we do not, I'd like to ask Tosh and Bobby to say a few last words, maybe word of advice, parting shot, something, so we can end the session on a good note.
For me, surround yourself with good people who make you look good.
Thank you. And Tosh?
Nobody gives a shit.
Nobody. Thank you.
Work harder. Yeah. Spend that extra time. Burn that midnight oil. If you don't like it, chances are high that nobody else is gonna like it.
Okay. Very wise words from Bobby and Tosh. Thank you so much for joining us, for taking your time to share with us these experiences. I believe everyone has at least learned a thing or two. Personally, I've learned a lot, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. I hope to do this another time. And wow, so many people tuned in. Thank you for that. We will be doing this again, probably with some different guests. And if Bobby and Tosh want to come back again, karibu. But for now,
asante sana.
For now, let's
bye bye.
All right.
Thank you and good night.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.